Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we're going to have part 2 of my coloring books, and I thought we would start with the mythographic series. First, let's start with Mythographic Wanderlust. Now, I don't have my books in any particular order at this point. Some of them have different authors, and you'll see some of the same, I call them authors, illustrators, however you would like to say it. Let's find out. This is 2021, so before we start. So the newer ones don't necessarily have the hidden objects, but some of these do. So like this one does. See here, it's got like a ruler here, and here's like a, a scuba diver helmet or something. Now, in this one, it doesn't seem to be quite as noticeable, but I don't particularly like these, but I will say I have kind of figured out how to disguise them, so to speak. Some illustrators do a better job with them than others. There are some cool pictures in here. I think she's relatively new, or maybe I've just not noticed her name as often as some others. There's kind of a quick flip through at that one. Next up is Menagerie by Fabiana Antanasio. Absolutely adore some of her individual work. You'll see books by her later on. I think I have Peter Pan, and maybe I just have the one, but I did buy a Coloring in Heaven book by her that highlights her. This is 2022. So let's take a look. But I love her style. You can kind of get a feel for the difference between the different illustrators. Now, the mythographic always has just a lot going on in it. Here's one that I did really early on. These cute little raccoons. I'm not in love with how this turned out, but, we all start somewhere. And I don't even know if it's so much that as maybe more color palette. I'm not as enamored with my choices of color palette. I did use Prisma. I do like that the mythographic are one-sided and they tear out. So if you want to use alcohol markers or something like that, you certainly can. Okay, so that is Menagerie, Fabiana Antanasio. Next up is Paradise. This is also by Fabiana Antanasio. This one is 2020, so an older one. This one has hidden objects in it. Like I said, not a huge fan of that, but, is it going to be a deal breaker for me? No, I don't think these are quite as bad as other books that I've seen, with the hidden objects. But I have one page colored in here, and that's this one. A longtime subscriber, she subscribed, I think, on my first video. And she's been with me ever since, Miss Kimberly. I appreciate you so much. I reached out to her and I said, you've been so great about texting and commenting, on my channel and being supportive. Is there a page you would like me to color? And she chose this one. So I hope I did her justice, but I like how it turned out. I used Prismacolor and Gold Sparkle Pop, so just around the edge there. Okay, next up is Cosmic Spirit. This is one of the first flip throughs I ever did on my channel. It is also by Fabiana Antanasio. This one came out in 2023. No hidden objects. Now, I'm not really big into certain, I don't know, like, I'm not into, like, I don't follow my horoscope and things like that. I think, and I absolutely hate eyeballs like this. Like, eyeballs that pop, like, what's her name? Derico? I think some of her work is really cute, but she does these things with 3 eyeballs, and it just freaks me out. I don't like it. But I do I could get behind like Day of the Dead kind of stuff. I can appreciate the art for what it is. But it isn't, I think this is kind of a cool image. And I think these are based like on the tarot cards. But like I said, I can appreciate art for what the art is. But the eyeball thing, I would have to acrylic paint it out. I think this is a kind of a cool one too. Next up is Aquatic. This is from 2022. Joseph Kattenbang. I very much like him as an illustrator. Though I can't say this is one of them. A lot of these pages are very busy and not my favorite. There are some that I like more than others. This is probably one of my least favorite ones, maybe. I mean, you know, there's just books that sometimes like just call to you and you're like, yes, I want to work in this book. This really isn't one of them for me and will probably go in my maybe pile. I think I pulled this aside for Mermaid. Yeah, you remember way back when. Now I've seen some of these colored and they're pretty amazing, but this one's Aquatic. And I normally like underwater things, but okay, next up is Aviary by Joseph Kattenbang. This one is 2023. Now, see, stuff like this appeals to me a lot more. There's a lot going on, but it isn't like, I'm not struggling to figure out what it is. Does that make sense? So when I look at these pictures, these appeal to me a lot more. I think it's so funny how we all can be so different. And what will appeal to one person and what appeals to another is totally different. And I think that's what makes coloring so cool. I like to go on Instagram and see what other people have done. And I see, you know, where somebody has taken it and went a totally different direction with it and how cool that is. But this is definitely one that I will keep and try and work on. Okay, next up is Wild Winter by Joseph Kattenbang. This one, 2022, Hidden Objects. This one I could see myself keeping. Because, like I said, I mean, this is extremely detailed and it's, there's a lot going on the page, but it's, is that more helpful? But I can see what they are. I'm not like, what is even happening here? Yeah, so that's interesting. I would keep this one. Yep. I would keep it and work on it. I like turtles. I don't know if I like that page. I sometimes wish they wouldn't do this, though. I don't like realistic bear heads with line drawings. Like, to me, that almost looks, I don't know. I don't like the two combined. That's just me personally. I'm sure once it's colored, it's fine. Am I being picky? Yes. Okay, next up is Labyrinth. 2023. Okay, so no hidden objects. This girl in the bubble is very similar to one I colored, so I'll show you that. It's interesting. I think some of like his little images, they show up in other books. But I like this book. I could see myself working in this one. Do you guys like the mythographic? It's funny, I don't see a lot of people working in them as much. Maybe I should work in them a little more. I really enjoyed the ones I've done. I have another one coming up. One more book and then it'll be up. Crystal Kingdom, Veronica Kolinska. 2024. So she's newer, I think, too, to the mythographic illustrations. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what I think of these. Nothing right now is really jumping out at me and saying, yeah, I really like this book. I don't dislike this book. There's other books that, I don't know. I think this will definitely go on the maybe pile. Okay, next up is Frozen Fantasies by Fabiana Antanasio. This one does have hidden objects. It's 2021, and they do show you where the hidden objects are, in case you're struggling to find them. So if you like winter scenes, this might be a good one for you. I don't know. This one has a lot of crystals and a lot of that kind of stuff. Snow, ice, you know, hence Frozen Fantasies. But this is, once again, not maybe one of my favorites. And, you know, sometimes I just got to get inspired. I got to see something that somebody did with it. And then it will spark my imagination. And like that one's, I like this one. And then I'm off. So I don't know. This one might be on my maybe pile too. And by maybe, I mean, I want all of these books to fit in, I guess I have 6 cubbies. I want them all to fit in that. And then I just want books that inspire me to create. This one's Wild Summer. I just worked in this one. It's a newer one by Joseph Cadenbang. So I think it came out this year. Yeah, this year. And this one I really like. There are some really cute pictures in here. Things that when I look at it, like I could totally see myself doing that page. the axolotls. Like, when I look at this book, my imagination takes off, and I don't know. I want to see these pages colored. So this is one that speaks to me a little bit more. I absolutely hate when artists do this, though. It's up to me to decide to put in really dark butterfly wings or something. But, you know, whatever. But this is something that I like this one a lot. So I will be working in it. And I did this page. It was my last summer page before I got into more fall. And I've got to kind of decide if I want to be a seasonal colorist. I do a little bit, but sometimes it's, I don't know. You got to do what appeals to you in the moment. But I definitely enjoyed this one. Okay, next up is Imagine by Joseph Cadambang. This one feels bigger to me. This is 2019, so we have the hidden objects. I haven't looked at this book for a really long time. This was, I probably bought it a year and a half ago. So we'll see if it speaks to me. I gotta say, so far, not as much. What do you guys think? Do you ever get books and then look at them and go, why did I get this book later on? I don't know. But like I said in my first video, sometimes I just need to see stuff and get inspired. Like Hannah Carlson's books, I never saw the appeal. And then I got one, and now I love working in it. So you never know. Okay, this is my last mythographic book, and it is Magical Earth. It's in 2022, Joseph Cadambang, and I like this book and will work in this book more for sure. These kind of images, so somebody had requested that I do another page in this book, so I haven't forgotten you, Carol. I will work in it. But I think these images are really cute. I did a buddy color with J.I. colorist, Miss Jody. She's fantastic. She has a channel here on YouTube, so you should check her out. We did this page. I used pan pastels and Black Widow pencils, and she uses pan pastels as well. I don't think she used Black Widow though, and her page turned out fantastic as well. But very different than mine, which is cool, and I love that. But you see the girl in the jar? That girl reminded me of her. But I will definitely do another one in this book. Hopefully soon. Okay, next up is Denise Klett. And this is Birds in the Forest. And I did, we'll start at the back here, but I did this page. Now, I did this with oil pastels and Prismacolor pencils for the birds and the flowers. I absolutely love how it turned out. I enjoyed the process. You can see I've sprayed it and it doesn't come off. It is a messy medium. It definitely has a learning curve to it, and if you're the kind of person that loves to just explore new art possibilities, and you have a big open picture like this, I think it was fun. Would I recommend it for like just always doing backgrounds? Probably not. But I do really enjoy how that turned out. This book is delightful. Absolutely love the fun little images in this. The little birds just slay me. And I will, and the pig, and the pig. I got a little piece of tape or something. I have some tape right here. Not sure why. Maybe I was going to do this page. That's interesting. But anyway, really enjoy her style, the whimsy, the fun. I hope the lighting's okay. You know, we're getting to that time of year where it's kind of crappy out. We've had some overcast days, but not really much in the way of rain. It was supposed to rain. But I've got several bookmarks probably in this book because it's just so fun. I recommend this if you like this style of coloring. And the paper is of good quality. So far I haven't had any issues. I've colored 2 Denise Klutz. The other one's in this book, Mermaids in Paradise. So we'll take a look at that one next. I did this page. And I had a blast doing this. I thought it turned out really good. It's a very bright and colorful page, but I felt like even though I had pretty much every color on the rainbow, I'm okay with it. To me, it was cohesive enough for me. I enjoyed creating my own little time flies when you're having rum. Rum is the drink of my choice when I'm drinking, and so I thought that was really cute. I love the little fish in the jars and in the bubbles. I used Holbein, and I used a Winsor & Newton pearl, like here on the bubbles. You can kind of see up in there. And then I went over them, and the bubbles were a train wreck. But, you know, it was one of those live and learn kind of things. So I'm not thrilled with the bubbles on this page, but I do otherwise really like how this turned out. Okay. Next up is Gnomes in the Neighborhood. Now she has another book that I don't have. I will say these books are getting harder to find. Did I flip through? I didn't even flip through. Sorry, y'all. Yell at me next time. But look at her style. The images are cute and fun, and they just bring a smile to my face. So you got a little bit of the birds. You've got these cute little mermaids with their little skinny tails, and like I look at her little face. Like some of them are sassy, some of them are, you know, I just think that they're fun. So I will be coloring more in these books. That one cracks me up. She looks like she's performing some sort of business transaction with the birds. Oh my goodness. Every time I look at these books, I just smile, and it makes me want to bust out. Come on, with the pig. Oh, you know what other? I gotta show you this page. I will color this page. This one. It just, like, it just cracks me up. The pig in all of these. I thought there was another pig one. I don't know. It just cracks me up. All right, Gnomes in the Neighborhood. This is my untouched one. Not for lack of cuteness, because come on, the gnomes are adorable. And they always have all these little antics. The pig, the princess and the pig. It's not even a P. I mean, they ice skate. Like, how much fun would that image be? I mean, it can be a little daunting. This page looks like a lot. Might have to take you a hot minute, but you know what? That's what coloring's for. If it takes a while, it takes a while. Says Wendy, the most impatient colorist ever. But I don't know. The whimsy of this is just delightful. Absolutely will keep all of those. Okay, let's talk about Kirby. I really enjoy Kirby, and I will show you the first page. One of the first pages I ever did was this one, and I followed a color along from Karen at My Colorful Country Life, and I used Black Widow pencils, and I totally changed the color and stuff, but I got an idea for how she was kind of going about it. And I gotta be honest with you, it was probably the first picture that I felt proud of. You know what I mean? Like, there's some pictures you color and you're like, you know, it's okay. But I was actually proud of that one. Here's another page that I colored. And I did take inspiration from someone on the internet, and but they didn't have a name or any way to distinguish themselves. So if you know, please let me know. Okay, next up is Alien Worlds. Now, I can't say that space and sci-fi is necessarily like my bag. Like, oh, can I get you on camera? You know, when it came out, but I did this page, and this was back when, you know, I was learning, and I used Neo colors in the background. And what I did, and this is an error that I made, and maybe this will help you, I can now use Neo Color 2s and not go through this paper at all. The key to any water medium is you can't use too much water, because once the paper gets saturated, it doesn't matter what the medium is, it will go through. So I got a little pink up in here. Now, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, because I will incorporate that into this page, or I will use acrylics or whatever to help me fix it. I'm not too worried that my paper is a slightly, you can see kind of the little bendies here and there. I'm not terribly worried about it. This is how you learn. This is how you grow. And now I know. And like I said, I use Neo Colors 2s all the time now, and I don't have a problem. So let's talk about the page. I like how this turned out. Can you see the wings? It's always so hard on. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see that they have like an iridescent, and then they have like a silver gel pen around the edge. I hope you can see that. But in person, I like how this turned out. I like the color scheme. I thought it was fun. The one thing I will say about this book, what makes it cool, is because these are aliens and they're not realistic things, you know, you color the pink sky. You color a bright, you know, chartreuse plant, and who cares? Because there's nothing to say that this can't be anything, you know? So, it's fun. Will I be keeping this? Yes. Is it something that I will probably work in as diligently as World Within Worlds? Probably not. My newest acquisition is probably one of his older books. I have tagged a few things to color. So I tagged these during Mermaids, or Mermay, and I didn't color them. There are some really cool images in this book. Now this, I think, has like the, maybe it doesn't. I was thinking it had the hidden things, but I don't think so. But I do like this book a lot. I like this image a lot, and I want to color him. I don't know why, it just kind of speaks to me. And I do plan on doing this dragon page. So I was thinking of doing it with the Inktense, like I did the other dragon page, but potentially laying my first colors down with the acrylic wash and then maybe adding some of those other elements. I'm not sure, but it's a cool book. Next up is Fragile World, and I just got this not that long ago. It is one of his older books, meaning, you know, it's not his newest release. Let me back out just a touch. Try and... I know these aren't flip throughs, but I find it helpful just to get an idea of a book. The one thing I do like about Kirby's books too is that he does talk about, like in this one, this is his endangered animals. So it'll tell, you know, axolotls, they're critically endangered, and they talk about them, and the blue whales, so you learn a little bit, and I do enjoy that. Anytime I can incorporate learning into my hobby, I'm a fan. Next up is Mythic World, and I really like this book. This was given to me as a gift from my son and daughter-in-law a couple, like right before I started the channel. And this is a book that I do want to work in. And guys, doing this book collection thing, it just makes me realize how many amazing books I have. Here is the only page that I've colored in it. This was done with acrylic paint and Prismacolor for Baba Yaba. I don't know, I just wanted to do something a little different than what everyone else did, so I just used paint, and there's a color along on the channel of this, but is it my favorite picture? No, but I do like how it turned out. I wish I would have centered her. My OCD, not that I'm OCD, but if you saw my house, you would know I'm not. I do feel like this could have been centered a little better. It bothers me that there's a little more area, more white over here. But anyway, I do enjoy this, and I will be working in this book more this next year for sure. Okay, this is World of Colors, and this is a compilation Kirby book, and the last compilation was of the Morpheus series. This is of the World series, so the what is it? Worlds Within Worlds, Alien World, Fragile World, all of that. So you're going to get a little bit of each of the pages in here. And I really like this because there are pages that I've colored that I thought, oh, I would like to do them a different way, maybe. You could also use it like as a testing kind of page, but it's kind of some of the best, depending on your point of view. And then at the beginning is some colored pencil, or not necessarily colored pencil, there's some colorings that people have done. And this one was actually done by my Colorful Country Life, Miss Karen, and it's fantastic. So I just say that because I follow her and some of these other people I don't know. So you know, just want to give a shout out to the peeps. But everyone did such a fantastic job, and it's kind of a neat little book, especially, I would say this would be a great book if you're not like enamored with Kirby. You like his stuff, but you don't need 6 Kirby books. This would be perfect. You'd get a little of all of them. Okay, this is my last Kirby book. This is Color Morphia. And what this is a compilation of images from his Morphia collection. So like he has Anamorphia and Mythomorphia and that kind of stuff. But these are kind of a compilation of those images. And then at the beginning of this book, he showcases some people's colorings, which I thought was really cool. And I only have, what did I say, just one of the Morphia? Yeah, I just have one Morphia book. And so I thought this might be a good one to get. So you can see here at the beginning, these are pictures that were colored by somebody, and they talk about who they're colored by, right? And the techniques they used, which I'm not going to go into that. If, you know, obviously you can get the book and check it out. But, so that's my last Kirby book. All right, let's head into Johanna Basford. Now, she was the artist that everybody starts with, right? And I have quite a few of her books. Sadly, I haven't done a lot of coloring in her books. I think I've only colored maybe one. And I'm not exactly sure why. I will say there are a lot of leaves and flowers in certain books. So did I say what book this was? Magical Jungle. So there are a lot of leaves and nature in this one. But there are a lot of cool images. I'm not as big a fan of the wallpaper type of design. But, you know, I do like her images. I'm just not really sure why I haven't tackled more of them. To be honest, I'm hoping that by going back in and diving through her books again, I will be encouraged to pick them up and color in them again. Or start coloring in them. But holy crow, like, look at that. That's some tiny, tiny coloring, right? I don't know. I like images like this one. Not so much like that one. I think these could be beautiful when they're done. But this book might go on my maybe pile. I don't know, we'll see. Because like I said, there are some images that I do like. But do I want to keep a book just for 1 or 2 images? I don't know. So I think it's going on the maybe. Okay, next up is Enchanted Forest. Now this paper is definitely more ivory, almost borderline beige. It is definitely a, like, you see white. Are all of you guys' books this way? I do like this image. Again, not totally sucked into this book. I do like this image. Those I think could be cute for like fall. But I think it's going on my maybe pile. Okay, next up, Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. Now this is a storybook. I'm sure y'all know. This one is definitely one I will keep, and I do want to work in this book. And my thought is to pick one set of pencils, and maybe one set of mixed media or something, like maybe Neocolor tools or something for some of these bigger backgrounds. But this one's definitely a keeper for me. Next up is this one. I just got this this year, and I thought there were some really cute Christmas images in it. I'm not as big a fan of these, but I think that they're designed to just be a facing page for these images. To color if you want, but not necessarily to be a coloring page in their own right. So I think I'm going to put this on my list to color in December for sure, or late November. Maybe do one of these or something, little pre-season warm-up per se. But there's definitely some really cute images in this book. Next up is Worlds of Wonder, and this book I very much like. I know I haven't colored in it, but well, I did a little when I was this is a funny story. When I was very like setting up the channel and trying to figure out how I was going to film, I colored just to see if I could see myself. So I should just erase that, and because we're definitely not calling that a whip. But this will be a book I will color in, and it's good to see it to remind me, hey, this is a fun book. Dig it out and color. Is this the one I've actually colored in? It might be Rooms of Wonder. Yeah, I guess it's Rooms of Wonder. Okay, next up is Rooms of Wonder. This is another one that I like, but I haven't worked in. I have seen some absolutely amazing pages from these two books, and I need to put these a little more front and center because there are definitely pages in here I could see myself coloring pretty much every page in here. Not a big fan of this kind of thing, but I did see, I can't remember who it was, but they said every time they used a color, they colored like you know, like if they did a page in purples, they used the purple in the book on this page. And I thought that was such a cute idea. Might have been Meg's coloring. I can't remember. I hope I'm crediting the right person. But that could be fun to do because then it wouldn't be so tedious. You would just fill it up as you go. You know? But yeah, definitely a keeper. Okay, and my last Joanna Basford book, Until Tuesday. I'm getting the new one because I do like her. There's just a couple that I'm not a huge fan of. This one I've done 2 pages, so let's start out with those. This was early on. I want to say like January or February of 2023. I used polychromos and pastels. Now now I use pan pastels, but back then I used Mungio pastels, just to do this circle behind it. But I do like how it turned out in general. I do think my coloring has evolved a little bit since then. But we can take a flip of the book. Now this one is primarily flowers, but some of the, like this image appeals to me. Some of these, I mean, I feel like there's some fun images interspersed with all the flowers, but this is definitely one, if you're not a fan of flowers, this might not be the book for you. Now, do I love it as much as the Rooms one? No, but I will say this, it was one of the very first ones that I got. So I colored this one in January of 2023. I used Ardex colored pencils and pastels, just the Mungio pastels in the background. There is a color along on the channel, actually I think for both of these. So if you're interested, they'll be in my color alongs, but you'll have to go back a little ways on the channel. But I'll definitely be keeping this book. Okay, so I lied. That wasn't my last Johanna Basford book. I actually have Small Victories. Now, this is another untouched book. And I know everybody went crazy when it first came out because of all the small images, and I really do like that. I could see this being a really good palette cleanser and or like testing color combinations to push yourself, right? So we all do the red, yellow, orange, right? Or red, orange, yellow, I should say. But maybe push yourself to experiment with brown with that, or purple with that, or green with that, and push your, or purple, right? Push your limits a little bit with books like these to maybe test color combinations. But it's a cute little book. I need to just tell my husband I don't want to clean the house anymore and spend more time coloring. Let me know in the comments how you all think that's going to go for me. Okay, to be fair, that wouldn't afford me a whole lot more time for coloring. Okay, while I was going through my books, I did find this one. I had picked it up like at a Michael's, and it was kind of one of those, oh, it's Johanna Basford, I gotta get it. But you know what, y'all? I'm not as much into the drawing aspect as I am the coloring aspect. So I think this is one that's gonna go for me. But it's a really nice book if you like her style and want to draw like her. Okay, in my first haul, I mentioned my hardbound books, and I did find a couple more that, you know, were set aside because I had colored something in it or otherwise kind of forgot about. One of which is this one. I love this book. Now, this is a reprint. It's Emily Lyda Oberg, and this is her Oxsagner, I believe is the name of the book. But this is a reprint. It's a hardbound book. It's absolutely stunning. I colored this page just recently. There's a full color along on the channel. It was a buddy color with my friend Christine. There's a little glaze on the eyes. But absolutely beautiful book. This just came out this year. And I don't know how I forgot about it. But it's gilded on both sides. It's just lovely. So anyway, there's that one. Next up is this book, Brown Bear Wood. And this is like a seek and find book. So it actually goes this way. And, you know, on the side, you're supposed to find a cake decorated with blackberries, right? And you go, okay, there it is. But anyway, I colored this page. I used Black Widow pencils and fine liners to do this page. And I really enjoyed working in this book. Now, I did buy the companion book, If You Go Down in the Woods Today, which is an actual like storybook, right? But it's fully colored. So you can take inspiration from that if you would like, right? And so you could look at how they colored the page and then color your own page. So here's the piece that I colored, right? It's like this piece, and then all of this is additional in the book that's not in the coloring book. But this is kind of a fun coloring series, or whatever you want to call it. But the details are a little bit small. Next up is the Ink House. Now this is by Rory Dobner, and it was I've had this book for quite a while. Is this, yeah. I think I had to find this maybe secondhand. Has it? Oh, it's been such a while. Let me see. Yeah, 2018 is when this book came out. Now, this is an actual little story about these animals that have a party, right, in the ink house. But look at these cute little characters. So this is one that I hope to get to this next year. Very fun book. But it is also a hardback. And I think... okay, I think that's finally it for the hardback books. Okay, oh my goodness, I can't even believe that I almost forgot this hardbound book. So this is the Wildergorn book. And there's a full flip through on the channel because, y'all, this is a huge, huge book. To give you some perspective, I'll just grab this book. So it is essentially 2 coloring books sideways and actually even a little longer. So it's probably 12 by 17. It's a big book, and it's got a fun little storyline in it. And each page comes with a little bit of a story, and then you color in it. And I am leaning towards probably very mixed media in this. I'm going to see how Pan Pastels do in it, to maybe lay a base layer, you know, like when you're doing big areas like this brick house. Otherwise, I will be using Tombow markers, Pitt pens, and fine liners in this book because the details are fairly small, and my hand would fall off by the time I colored this entire book with a colored pencil, I think. So this is my ginormous hardbound book. Now I am truly done with the hardbacks. So I'm going to move into large books, oversized books, and unusually sized books. So this is Coloring with Your Octopus, and it's by Brian Kessinger. I'm not sure how he says his name. This book delights me. This is a page I did. I did a coloring long with Coloring Biker Mama. I hope I said that right. Jolanda, she's fantastic. and Sherry Denninger, and she's also fantastic. Now she's only on Instagram, but I did the color along. It's up on the channel. I use Neocolor 2s and like an alcohol blender marker, but the pages in this are just hilarious. It just makes me laugh, like her doing all this crazy stuff with her octopus. It's very hard to get in the camera. It is, how big is it? 13, 14 inches maybe by 7. So kind of an unusual size. The paper feels thin, but I had no trouble. You can see I used that blender marker. Did not go through. Neocolors did not bleed. But I will definitely be coloring in this again because this is where I go when I need a giggle. Okay, let's see. Next up is Wildflower Folk. Now this is by Christine Karen. It is a beautiful book, especially if you like portraits and like 3/4 length. The paper is fantastic. It's a little grayscale. I colored this page, and this was a color along on the channel where I do a pan pastel tutorial where I literally teach you how to use the pan pastels, and then I use Prismacolor. So I enjoyed doing this page. It was a buddy color with a lady out of England, or the UK I should say, and it South Wales, yeah. And because I always get y'all's countries kind of like I don't want to embarrass myself. She's from South Wales, but anyway, she does a lot of beautiful work, and I will tag her in the description below. And that's like just a little bigger than 8.5 by 11, I think. Now this one is Lila Dooley's Beautiful Planet, and it's 9.5 by 12. Remember we had the hardbound book of Flower Year. Well, this is just another book by her. It's that same kind of style, but in a bigger format. This is a book that is beautiful, though it may go on my maybe list because I'm just not drawn to coloring this much in the way of flowers. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a stunning book, and the paper is nice quality thickness. Let me get a page to where you can hear. I do like the little phrase there, but it's a little intricate and a lot of flowers and such that I'm just not as big a fan of coloring, but I often get sucked in because it's so beautiful. And so this one's going to go on my maybe pile. Okay, next up is Vintage Fairies coloring book. Now this one is 11 by 9, so just slightly larger. I bought this at Michael's, I believe, and this is one of those ones that has kind of the inspiration, and then you color the page, and it's kind of these vintage fairies, very watercolor looking on the images. It was an impulse buy back when I was first getting started with coloring, and you know, really didn't know what I like to do and what I don't like to do. So this is going to be in my to-go pile. Next up is Hachette Heroes. This is a color by number. This is not my favorite way of coloring. This one's 8 3/4 by 11 3/4. And this is what the pages look like. They have the ones in the back that are completed. And then this is what you're left with. Let me zoom in so you can really see. Okay. Now we're going to zoom you back out here. Okay. I've colored several in this one. Just trying to figure out. This was a test page. I used gesso and Neocolor 2s. Just trying to play around, and you can see where the gesso, so white gesso, just so you know. Like I was looking, I don't know what I was trying to do. I was experimenting, and parts of it were more successful than others, for sure. Probably not something I would necessarily recommend. At least not the way I did it. I did this one with the Artex acrylic markers. Now, you can see how streaky I was here because I think, well, one, it's only one layer. So I think if I were to go back and maybe do another layer, it would look better. You can kind of see the numbers pop through a little bit. And this was, I didn't have a lot of colors to choose from, so the colors are frankly not great. Next up is this one. I was trying it once again with the, I tried putting down acrylic first and then Arctic markers over that. And you can see it kind of made a weird texture. And then I tried to fix it with colored pencil, and that didn't work very well. Okay, and I think I colored this one first. But anyway, this one was a buddy color with a gal from Instagram, and I just used Tombows, Prismas, and stickles. So I did get a little crazy here with the stickles. And while I do like that, it does leave a texture. So like if I was coloring this one, you would have to put something pretty thick here to make sure you're not transferring your texture. Okay, so this one was done just with Arctic colored pencils. And you know, for what it is, I mean, the thing I don't like about colored pencils is you can see all the lettering. And I prefer it to be a little more painted. Next, I want to try these Arctic acrylic markers. And I think I'll get a little bit better result. But we shall see. Next is this one. I tried using Thule art paint pens. Now, the thing about these is they were the fine ones. So you can see where I have little white marks. And you can see I did try and use water to blend this. This book is, I have been on the struggle bus the whole way. I think I have a much bigger set of acrylic markers now, so I think I'm going to be testing out things and see if I can get this dialed in. Okay, next up is this one. Now, this is a fun one, and I'm looking forward to coloring in it. It's Kevin Teo Art is the name, the illustrator. But this takes fairy tales and makes them funny tales. So look at these fun images. They just crack me up. I mean, I don't know. I really enjoy this book. I'm looking forward to coloring in it. I think they're going to be delightful when they're colored. Look at the 3 pigs with their tattoos. I mean, it just... So anyway, this is definitely a keeper. Okay, next up is this one by Nicolette Defray. Now this is a little bit more like Amazon type of paper in this book, but the pages, I mean, the illustrations are sweet. It kind of reminds me a little of Joanna Passford. But I do like supporting, you know, individual artists. She's out of Hungary, but it's not a book I reach for, but the images are really sweet. So I think I'm going to keep it for now. It may go in the maybe pile. Okay, next up is Fairy Stories Special. Now, Christine enabled me, gently encouraged me to buy this one. Actually, she was really good. She just said she was going to buy it. But it's Fabiana Attanasio. And I have her Peter Pan book. And these images, like, look at these dwarfs, y'all. I mean, so stinking cute. So cute. Really love her style. Now, she does mythographic, and those, I like her mythographic stuff, but I feel like her individual, like these fairy tales, are very sweet. Now, this one's marked because Christine and I did a color along of that page. So let me get that for you, because that's, oh, it's right here. Let me get it for us. So what we did was she scanned it in, and then we printed it out just on regular size paper. And so it's the same scale, or it's the same picture, just kind of scaled a little bit. And I enjoy working on this. I used just Prismacolor, and I probably should have based, because my paper is like a Bristol vellum, and so you get that kind of colored pencil little dots or whatever. To me, it doesn't bother me awful, but at the same time, I have to say, when it's not there, sometimes it looks a little more finished. But I did use some gold and some shiny stuff on on this guy here. Oh, who did she say that reminded her of? Next up is this book. This book is, I don't know, 14 or so by 10 or 11. It's a big book. Now, this is a color by number, but you cannot tell at all what this is going to be. And there's just a color thing up there, so you just color all the 8s black and whatnot. And I think I started this page. I think I started it on the channel. I think I was doing a tag or something. And it looks like I started this one a long time ago. So some of these are hexagonal, and some are triangles, and some are squares, and some are circles, it looks like, here. And then, of course, you can cheat if you want in the back. But this is called Color Quest. And I think I'll probably keep it. I mean, this one I think would be good for acrylic markers, for sure. Okay, Here's a hardbound book. This is by Tim Jeffs. It's called Intricate Ink, Animals in Detail. This is a beautiful book. Now, all of these are in grayscale, and quite a bit of grayscale. But when you color them, they really turn out fantastic. I have not colored any in here because, you know, look at this. This one always sucks me in. Look at that beautiful owl. But one of these days, I am going to work in this book. Intricate Ink, Animals in Detail. Tim Jeffs. Okay, next up is Nice Little Town. Now this is book 4. It's by Tatiana Bogoma-Stolova. And her images are super cute, they're whimsical and fun. Now she's got the black paper on this side, so for those of you that like alcohol markers, this would be a great book for it. Other than, personally, I don't think markers blend that well on this kind of paper, but definitely cute images. I bought this one. It says Nice Little Town Collection, books 1 and 3. I did color this page with Prismacolor. To be honest, there's interspersed, there's some really adorable pages, but then there's just a lot of pages that don't interest me at all. And so I am not sure. To me, this looks very different. The style is very different than maybe her future books, because I really like book 4, but I am not a fan of book 3 or books 1 through 3. So this is going to go in my no pile. But I will keep Nice Town 4. Next up is Serene by Nicholas Tronwinata. I don't know. This book is absolutely stunning. I love these images so much. The paper is fantastic. The images are delightful. I mean, I believe, no, there isn't. I filmed a flip through, but I haven't put it up on the channel. If this is something you'd like to see, let me know. I will tell you this book is hard to get, but I love his work. And I'm going to show you a book that's a little easier to get. And I've been meaning to work in this book. Have I said that before? Yes. But this book has some really, really amazing images in it. That one might be fun for Halloween, huh? But there are just some really cool images in this book. Just a little something for everybody. Like stuff that looks like Kirby, stuff that, you know, is just gorgeous. But it's on my list, guys. This book is on my list. But this is Fantasia by the same author. He also goes by Nick. Nick Filbert. Nick Filbert. So I think because, you know, his name isn't the easiest to pronounce. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for part 2 of my book collection. I think there's going to be 5 parts. But probably next week, we'll do the one-off books and random books. That'll be fun. So I hope to see you then. Hit the subscribe button if this kind of content appeals to you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.